Hello, 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 HTU students. Welcome to week four. Week four. Listen, this particular video, you guys, this is a re-record. Okay, this is a re-record. So if you are watching this, know that this is a re-record from last week because I'm understanding that the video, something has happened to it. And so I had to re-record this video. With that being said, welcome to week four. The boundaries with this week we're talking about boundaries and backbone and protecting your peace. But before we go to that, let's just do a little recap of what we talked about last week in week three. Week three was about healing is strength two, which strength also, right? Healing is strength too. Like to be able to heal shows strength. Trust me when I tell you that. To be able to heal shows strength. Embracing emotional intelligence, right? The truth about emotional intelligence is that emotional intelligence is power, right? Emotional intelligence is power. And when we talk about emotional intelligence, of course, we have to point out some of the key skills when being emotionally intelligent. One of them is self awareness, knowing what you feel and why you feel it, right? Knowing what you feel and why you feel it, right? Sometimes we have certain beliefs that we carry over from things that we were taught when we were younger. Okay. This can be like I remember there was this thing where my grandmothers used to say that when women shaved up on their arms, it made them weak. Like it made them have strength, like that it took their strength away, right? They weren't as strong as they needed to be, right? And so, of course, when I became a teenager, that was something that my mother was telling me, well, you ain't supposed to be shaving for your arms. I was like, lady, I can't be in the gym room with this hair up under my arms. I'm not sure how y'all did it back then, girl. But we can't do this, okay? We I can't be walking around with hair up under my arms, girl. We got to shave this, okay? Now, if it's gonna make me weaker, then I'm just gonna have to lift more weights, okay? But I can't be walking around like that. Now, to each his own. But for me, it's just wasn't what I was doing, okay? Now, I know that that was something that she learned from her mom. So, what was I supposed to do with that? Was I supposed to take it on and say, okay, I believe this too, right? Because there's no fact to it. There's no fact. It's just a belief. But people will start to believe things that they've been told without fact checking. Sometimes, even when they fact check things, they'll still believe what they want to believe just because. And so sometimes some of the things that we believe, why do we believe it? Is it because we were told it, or is it because we know for ourselves it to be true? And part of that is your self-awareness, knowing who you are, how you feel, and why you feel that way. Okay. Self-regulation is another key emotional intelligence skill. And that is manage your reactions without suppressing your truth. Like being able to get your point across, right? Just being able to, without yelling and screaming, without huffing and puffing, without doing the things that makes another person shut down and not want to hear you. Being able to self-regulate, right? Using choice words, being careful about the words that you choose. Sometimes you can be in a conversation with a person, and if you use certain languages, especially foul languages, right? It takes away from your credibility in that conversation, right? So that person you're talking to, they're shutting down because now they're on a defensive mode whenever you start to use that type of language. And so you have to be able to literally self-regulate yourself. And then of course there's empathy, right? Understanding others without losing yourself. I'm a big empath. I am a big empath. I know this. I know this. I knew this. And I have to sometimes take myself out of a situation because if not, I'll get caught up in it. I'll be consumed with it. And then I'll start carrying those emotions and those feelings. Okay, it's a whole thing. And so that's why I'm very particular about my space. I'm very particular about my peace. I'm very particular about who I exchange energies with, right? Because I already know that I'm going to pick up, and I pick up on senses as it is. I pick up on things as it is. So when somebody have, a certain, when something going on with them, I feel it. And so I'll be trying to fix it and solve it, like, let me, so I have to be careful with that. And so, but I do know that regulating that is having empathy for other people, because it also allows me to get to not be inhuman, right? Inhumane. I'm sorry, that's the to be inhumane, right? In other words, I am, because I know what other people are going through, it causes me to be a little bit more given, but it also causes me to, have other things. But I know that because it makes me a kind person in a lot of ways, because I do have empathy for others, right? But I also know when to pull back. Okay. Social skills, navigating relationships with intentions. This is something that a lot of people don't know how to do. People are really understanding how to, like, allow you to be a friend, but sometimes people don't know how to be a friend back. But there's an old saying: in order to have a friend, you got to be a friend. Okay, however you want your friends to treat you, that's how you should treat other people. Okay, and if those friends are not reciprocating, then those aren't the friends, and you have to be honest about yourself as well too. Okay. Motivation, responding with purpose instead of pain. I call motivation passion. That's what I do. I call motivation passion. I am very motivated and passionate about all things that I talk about. Anything that I'm talking about, I'm very motivated and passionate about it. Now, if I'm not motivated and passionate about it, I will check out, because I'm not going to talk about it. If it's something that I don't care about, I'm not going to talk about it much. I'm just going to say what I got to say. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm not going to show much motivation. I'm not going to show much passion, right? But being able to do that without doing it from a place of pain. The best way we can tell a story is from a what how I heard an expression a couple of weeks ago. Someone said, the best place to tell a story is from a scar, not from a wound. And the reason why you tell it from a scar and not from a wound is because if the scar is there, that means that the injury has healed. That means that whatever has happened there is gone. And like when I think about that, I think about my neck. If you can see my neck, okay, I was in a an accident many years ago. In 2013, I was in an accident, and it was a very bad accident, and I was very lucky, very blessed to have walked away from it. And when people would see the scar, they would make all kind of accusations, because trust me, it was about the color of this chair right on my neck, and I am not a darker complected woman, and so anything that dark around my neck, it looked like I had been decapitated and then my head was sewn back on. That's what it looked like, right? That's not what happened, of course, but that's what it looked like. And so I even got people asking me, did somebody try to, unalive me, right? Because it was so like, how how did that possibly happen? But when I would go to talk about it, I realized that I was still talking about it from a place of I'm having to explain this thing that sticks out, because it took up I think it was 75% of my neck at the time. It went all the way. I'm talking about the circumference of my neck. It's since then has faded more and has cleared on this side where it doesn't wrap it around as much as it did. But I know now that there's nothing there, right? It's like I don't feel it there. I know it's there, but I don't feel it there. Whereas that for a long time, whenever I touched it or anything, it burned, irritated. Like there were certain shirts like these that I could not wear, and so the saying of speak from a place of a scar and not a wound, I think that my neck is the very much analogy, because now I can see this as I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I mean, literally, it's not me. In the beginning, it was like, oh my God, I got to cover this up. This is not attractive. But then after that, it was just like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me rethink this thing, right? And because it was healing, and I realized that there was something that I had overcame, something that I had, that some people may not have been as lucky, right? Or as fortunate or as blessed. Okay. So when we talk about when we talk about back to what we was discussing in week 3, when we talk about healing and strength too and embracing emotional intelligence, we have to remember to talk about the emotional intelligence skills, and those things are part of it. Being able to do life and speak from a place of heal, right? As opposed to, yelling and screaming and trying to get a point across, and that's not going to get you anywhere. That's going to get the other person to lock down. Now, we spent a lot on week 3. Now let's go into week 4. Boundaries and backbone. Protect your peace. Listen, peace starts at home. I say this all the time, and there's probably a video you're going to watch me say it again. Peace starts at home, right? If you are an adult and you have your own spot, and you are an, or if you are an adult and you need to get your own spot, that's where your peace starts, right? And even if you're not in a position where you can have a whole area, right, a whole house, even if you share a room with somebody, find you a place in that room where maybe you can isolate yourself from everything. Even if it's just you put a yoga mat with one of those parchment boards or those dividers up, and you put a yoga mat down and a pillow, and that's where you do yoga at, right? That board that covers you up and be just where you are covered up, where you're not that anything to find your peace. Peace, it should start at home, not anywhere else, because rest, that is the place where you're supposed to get fed into, right? You go there to relax, you go there to eat, you go there to bathe, you go there to reset. Home is that place, so you should be able to go to your house and have that peace. And if you're not, you might want to do some rethinking about your life in general, right? And so one thing about protecting our peace, it also means saying no. Saying no, even when other people are telling you that you should say yes. In many cultures, especially in Black and Brown communities, people look at when you say no as if you have changed. Oh, so you too good now? Oh, so you didn't change. Oh, you don't love us no more. Oh, you don't listen. You have to be okay with your boundaries. And even when it comes to your family, you have to have boundaries. Everybody should have boundaries, right? Everybody should have boundaries. And unfortunately, not everyone does. But just because other people don't have them, that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to. And let me tell you something else about boundaries. You should look at boundaries the same way you look at a relationship, okay? A serious relationship. There are certain things that you require in a mate that are non negotiable, okay? That are non negotiable. And your boundaries should be the same way. Your boundaries should be non negotiable. And if they are negotiable, then they're not boundaries. And you'll mess around here and get yourself caught up short one day playing your left and your right hand together, right? Boundaries are things that you say no, right? One of my boundaries is if I say no, I will just say because I don't want to. And it's just that simple. If I choose to explain myself, I will. But for the most part, I'm at the point now where I don't. Now, when I was younger, I was that way. I was to the point where I felt like if I did something or said something, right, I had to explain why I was doing it so people wouldn't think less of me, people wouldn't judge me, people wouldn't think I was weird. Whatever it was that I thought, I would almost have to explain to people. You know what I mean? And it's just like, why? Like, why am I explaining to people? And how I knew that I really, really had to change this. And this wasn't something that I did as a young woman. It's something I did as an older woman. And I had to check myself on it because I did it because I was trying to revert back to my old ways. I have a daughter that's now 11. When she came into my life, she was 14, 15 days old. Okay. So when she got up to be about 2 or 3 years old, or even when she was a baby, right? Because I didn't know she was going to stay with me forever. It was supposed to just been temporary, but it's forever. So, and I'm okay with that. But in the beginning, here I was now a divorced woman because I had been divorced twice. So I'm single. And not only that, but I was when she came into my life, I was 40. So whenever I would meet someone or I would be around people and they would ask me about my daughter, I was quick to tell them that I didn't have her. No, I didn't have her. This is how it happened. Because I didn't want people to judge me for being an unwed mother having a baby while I'm in my 40s, right? It's like, but why? Why am I needing to tell people this story? Why am I giving them people listen, who they don't need to know everything. If they ask me, that's one thing. If they don't, then I don't need to volunteer it. But that was one of those things that I was very, very aware of that I had did 40 some year old woman. that I was like, no, 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 no. We're not going back to where we were as a kid, because having a daughter as an unwed mother, or having a child as an unwed mother, was different for me, because I had my children while I was married. And so to now be unmarried and I got a newborn, it was like, but I didn't, and so I felt some kind of way about that, because it was about how people judge me. And at the end of the day, why should I care? That disrupts my peace to think about how other people judge me. It disrupts my peace, because now I'm trying to people please. I'm trying to make sure that I do whatever I need to do to make sure people accept me, like me, don't judge me, all these type of things. No, for what? Ain't nobody think about me. People got their own stuff. And if they don't, they should. If they don't, they should. People got their own stuff. They ain't think about me. And that's how you have to look at it. Go and do your own thing. In order to be a person that is self-actualized, these are things that you have to be aware of. It's just not about you becoming safe. It's just not about, do I have what I need? Do I have the support I need? Do I have the food I need? Do I have all those things that Maslow said that we have to do before we get to that final stage of being self-actualized? It sounds good in theory, but it's just like anything else, right? He gives us this graph that looks like the pyramid, look like the food pyramid, right? Where you but his is upside down like this, right? Like shaped like a pyramid or a diamond, right? And as you go up, there are certain things that you meet. But what that pyramid doesn't show you is all the categories and subcategories and categories and sub to those categories that you still have to do in order to make sure those things are good. And one of the things, in order to be your best self, or before you can even become self-actualized, right? You have to be able to protect your peace. You have to be able to be stern and honest and non-negotiable in your boundaries. Just like all the other things that we'll talk about here. You have to be all those things, right? Because if not, then it's easy for anything to come in and shake up the house, right? Anything can come in and rattle your house if your house is built with cards. If your house is built with cards, it don't even take that. It could be like in your house go down, right? But when your house is built with cement first and it's built from there, so that means that you got to do all those things in the middle too before you self-actualize, right? It's not just about money. It's not just about, do I have the solid partner, right? Are you comfortable with yourself? Are you comfortable with the things that you put out to the world? Are you comfortable with when you, because remember, you have to be okay with these things no matter what you're doing for you to be self-actualized, because that means that you are living the life that you are supposed to live, doing what you're supposed to do, and you are your best self. You are doing what you were created to do, and there's nothing or no one can tell you anything different. You are doing exactly what that is, whatever that may be, right? Before you can get there, you have to have all these other things established, because if not, you will easily be knocked back down. And you don't want that. You don't want you to for yourself to be on unstable ground, right? And what I will say also about this is, when we talk about our type of boundaries, just to elaborate on it, and I want to make sure that I go with the notes on this, because these four entities are very, very important, right? So when we talk about different type of boundaries, there are four types. The emotional boundary. This is protecting your peace from toxic energy. Okay. Listen, y'all heard that meme going around on the internet where somebody say, they get a phone call. They like, hello, hey, you going to such and such? Okay, but who gonna be there? Well, what time? Well, what they gonna serve? Because because it's an energy thing. It is an energy thing, emotional, like it's emotional, it's tied to things. So when you go to certain rooms, if there are certain energies, you don't want to be a part of them. That is part of protecting your peace, knowing the emotional part of it. I watched a movie the other day on the internet, or excuse me, on Netflix. Okay. And I don't like to watch reviews on a new release before I watch it. Right. And so I didn't really pay attention to the trailer. I just kind of like watched it. Okay. Well, by the time I got done, I was crying because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for what came in the movie. Right. I wasn't ready. And I was like, you know what? Next time I wasn't ready. Right. because emotionally, maybe there was something going on with me. Or better yet, I mean, because I know it was, because I literally put myself in that actress place, right? I know this. I know that I did because of the things that I had going on in life. And it's not because of anything. It's because I was doing things like, when you're doing things that's new, it causes stress. So I knew I was like I was walking on eggshells, right? So I knew that I had to protect my boundaries. And part of that was not to be watching those sad movies. Okay, no movies where a woman had to be strong and all this kind of stuff. Like, no, because that's where I'm at right now, where I got to be strong and strong and strong and strong, and I'm strong. But when it's something new, you question everything, right? But I knew also I had to protect my peace. So I was like, you know what? Let me not watch the movies. Like, let me next time read the when I'm in a position like that, right? That's part of protecting my peace, emotional part. Second part, time, protecting your schedule from overcommitment. No, I can't do it. That's it. No, I can't go. And that's it. No, I can't babysit your kids. And that's it. No, I can't come and help you move. That's it. No, I can't do this and do that at the same time. No, and that's it. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. Okay? Because your time, you get 24 hours in a day. Okay? How you spend your time is up to you. You don't want to spend your last, you don't know when is your last hour, your last minute on the minute. You don't know that. So when it comes to what you do, you get to decide what you're doing with your time. And you don't want to spend it on something that ain't worth it. All right. Remember that movie where you had minutes and stuff and you had to do things and get, if you want a steak, you had to pay certain minutes and stuff. And what was it, timeless or something? I don't remember. But listen, if it's gonna cost me some of my minutes, I'm not doing it. And it's a no. And I don't even have to explain because I don't feel like it. That's it. That's it. Okay. Digital. Protecting your mind from content or communication that drains you. And you guys already know that social media is the number one thing. Social media, I don't even have to tell people this. Social media is the number one thing. You get on social media, you're looking at yourself, you're judging yourself, you're saying, well, why is it that my life, or how come, or how did they, or what about, and all this, and it becomes draining. And then not only that, but you start watching the news on social media. This happened over here, because now you got all access. So you know about the kids that are missing. You know about this person that done this to their spouse. Or you know about in 5 over. You know about all the things that you wouldn't necessarily get on your local news channel. Okay, necessarily, not necessarily. But if you reading somebody else saying, "Hey, y'all pray for this," right now you hearing, it's draining. It's draining. It's absolutely draining. You got politics on there, right? You got people talking about other people. You got people back. It is draining. So when it comes to your boundaries, you have to understand that the digital space is one of those spaces that you should really, really. Some people have to go ahead and take time out from it, right? And I think that if you got to do that, then yeah, there may be a problem. You should never get yourself in a position where you're so caught up in that where you have to put yourself on a timeout. I'm just saying you shouldn't. That means that you are at extreme. Okay, back away from the computer, back away from the smartphones, back away from the tablets, and go take a walk. Listen to a podcast. It's still social media, but you're listening to something positive. Take a walk, right? Get off social media. Get off the strolling, buying things you don't need. Right? It becomes draining because now you got all this stuff in your house. You don't got nothing to do with it. You be like, I don't know why I bought this. How did I buy? Why did I even buy this? Some things take so long to come, you don't even remember purchasing it. You be like, where was I at when I bought this? I know it. I ain't telling y'all what I heard. I'm telling y'all what I know. That's what I'm doing. I'm not telling y'all what I heard. I'm telling y'all what I know. Okay. So get off social media. Put it aside. If you're not making money with it, or checking on your friends, or making sure that your mom and them good, or sharing the pictures that you got, get off of it, because everything else is going to be too much draining. All right. It's going to be too draining. Okay. Now, when we talk about reflections and reflection check-ins, what are some things in life that you do feel drained about? Listen, this can be people. This can be every time you call a person, they drain you. They drain you. All right. They drain you. So how do you make sure you put a boundary up with that? Okay. Some people that in your life, you can only talk to them once a week. Make Sunday your day. I know for a fact. Make Sunday your day. Unless some pop off, you got to talk to them, the rest of the week or whatever. But other than that, if you already know that they may be a little bit emotional draining sometime, just pick a day out in the week where you talk to them, right? You don't talk to them every day. You don't. There ain't nothing in life you got to do every day but breathe. That's it. Breathe every day. Breathe if you want to be here. That's it. Breathe every day. Breathe. Breathe. That's it. Okay. So you ain't got to talk to everybody because some people are draining. Okay. Now, what beliefs make it hard for you to speak up for your needs? Is it being there for people? Is it not cutting people off? Is that one of the things that you feel that it's a belief for you, and because of it, you're not able to speak about it and say, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore." Okay, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too much. This is draining. It's draining the life out of me. It's breaking my boundaries by all levels. Only you get to decide in your life what does that look like. All right, only you. Boundaries aren't about keeping others out. They're about keeping you whole. You don't need to shrink